I wonder whether you've ever drawn a family tree of all the people that you're related to. I've put one here. We've got me in the middle. I'm the little purple person. I've got my husband Mark, our 3 children. And then you can go backwards and you can add in grandparents, or sideways, here's my sister and my husband's brothers and their children. So they're my children's cousins. It's lovely, isn't it, to make a family tree and to think about all the people that we love in our family. Now, I have a special connection with all of these people. Some of them are very different from me, and some of them I don't get to see very often at all. But because I love them, because they're part of my family, I really love it when we do get to see each other. There's something really special because there's a connection between us, because we're part of the same family. God wants us to know that for those of us who are Christians and believe in Jesus, it's a little bit like that for us too. Paul is writing in his letter to the Christians in Ephesus. They've not long been a Christian, and he wants to remind them about this. Now, in Paul's day, there was a lot of division between different groups of people, and in some ways that's not changed much today. We still divide people up based on maybe their age or their ability at school or their different hobbies and interests. And sometimes that's good. But Paul's talking about dividing people into groups in a bad way because they didn't like each other, because they didn't fit in the right group. And Paul wants the new Christians in Ephesus to know that Jesus came to put an end to all of that. Last week we were thinking about how Paul reminded us that we've been reunited with God, we've become friends with him again because Jesus died on the cross. And this week Paul wants us to know that we're united with people, other people who also believe that Jesus died and rose to rescue them. And Paul describes what it was like for the Ephesian Christians before they knew that. He uses words like separated and excluded, divided, and as if they were living like aliens towards one another. And that meant that they had no hope. But Paul says that Jesus came down to destroy the walls of hostility and hatred between different groups, so that we could be united together and friends and have peace, not only with Jesus, but with one another. It's good, isn't it, to have friends, and it's lovely to spend time with people that are like us, that we like. But Jesus wants us to be friends not just with people who are like us, but people who are different from us. And that can sometimes be a little bit hard, can't it? We're all very different, but Paul reminds the Christians that for those of us who believe in Jesus, we're all united by that same love for God and Jesus, and that can overcome our differences. In fact, Paul says we're like a big family. We have become part of a new family, God's family. So although we still have our earthly family that's in our family tree, we're now part of a new family as well. I could just put a line up here straight up to God because he's become my father and I'm part of his family. And that's really amazing. Did you know that all the different people in the world who believe in God, if you do a quick search on Google, apparently there's 2.3 billion people who would call themselves a Christian, who believe in God, who believe that Jesus has died for them and has risen again. Those people are all very different from us. They come from different countries, they speak different languages. They look different, they will worship God in different ways. But that's all good because we're all united by the one thing that is the same, our love for Jesus. Now 2.3 is such a huge number. I was struggling to get my head around it. 2.3 billion. How do we understand how big that is? Well, if I tried to draw this family tree and I made the people a lot smaller, just maybe about a centimetre big each, I've worked out I could fit about 600 people on one sheet of paper, 600 Christian members of my family tree. So if I carried on another sheet of paper, I would get another 600. And if I kept going and I laid out all those pieces of paper, each with 600 people on, and I put them down onto a football pitch and started to fill up the football pitch, it wouldn't just fill up one football pitch with A4 paper, it would fill up over 38 football pitches of A4 paper, each with 600 people on. That's how many 2.3 billion Christians is. That's phenomenal. All those people who are united with us. Now, do you know, sometimes I think some of us really feel that we don't fit in, we don't have friends, or people exclude us. Sometimes they even do that because we believe in Jesus. But we can be really reassured by this. There are all those other people out there, 2.3 billion, who share our faith, who Jesus is calling to love us and to show us the same love and acceptance that he shows to us. But if you don't feel that you're part of Jesus's big, wonderful family yet, maybe you feel like you're being a little bit left out and you're looking for that love and acceptance. Well, why don't you ask Jesus if you can become part of his wonderfully diverse family?